Hi everyone. Welcome to Just Conversations with Faheem B, which is me. So, today with me, I have a very special guest. I have perhaps a friend here who is a content creator and a very famous content creator, I would say. And now he recently turned into an author. And I have had a privilege to help him in that. And he got published by my publishing house. And it has been a crazy journey, of course. Like, there is so much that we did and so many things that we have to talk about. Like, I would say that this book did not just get published in my office. I had to take my whole team to my home. We did a lot of time into just his editing, his structures, and bunch of other things. So there's so many things that we did. So we're gonna talk about that journey, of course. But for now, let's just introduce him here. Please, Wasil, go on. Tell us about yourself.
Well, first of all, I will say thank you for everything that you have done. Like, I have considered you as my brother since the day we met. I remember you and me, when we met, we were at someone's place, and then we have talked for hours.
Yes.
We talked about the book, we talked about life, we talked about everything. And I still remember everything that we talk about. But
It
the
was a
thing
long
is that,
conversation.
you showed me something that I was, that I wasn't sure about.
Yeah.
I had this dream of publishing my book. I had this dream of writing a book, and I had the content ready like years ago.
Yeah.
But I didn't had a way to do it. And then I met you, and
Yes.
it all happened in a snap.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember like like you and me, your whole team, we were at your home the
Yeah.
whole night and doing the edits.
I know.
I was literally, writing it on the side of the bed, and you were like, your whole team was doing the rest of the work.
Yes, and I do want to talk about it a bit. When we met, uh, I think we took a walk. If you remember,
Yeah.
we took a walk to get some water, and the guy who was with us, we asked him to stay back in someone's office, and we took a walk, and I think that walk was for 2 hours, more than
I
that.
guess 3 hours.
3 hours. And I do remember, like, that's when you came down the next day, I think a day after, to my office, and
Yeah.
somebody asked me who's he, and I said that to him, that this guy I met, and it feels like we have been friends from a very
Very,
very
very
long
long
time.
time.
And
Yeah,
that was
I remember.
surprising for
I
a lot of
remember.
people. Yes. So we're going to talk about it in the coming parts. I want to know about Vasil's childhood and school life and other things. Like, obviously, you're quite young still. You're just 22, right? So, but
21.
you're 21, but you have so many things that you've done in life quite fast, right? So, talk about that. Talk about who Vasil was in school and his early life.
Well, back in school, I had everything I wanted to have. Like back in school, when I was in until third standard, my dad was doing well. We were doing well, and I had everything. I had literally everything, like everything I wanted. I used to ask my dad, and he used to like get it for me. But then this phase came where everything got like messed up. My dad got sick. He had to leave his job, and then he started his own business. But in the meantime, like it was going good. We were still doing fine. Not that fine, but
Like
still it
it
was
used to be.
like, yeah, on average basis. But then, if people remember, there was this like floods came in Kashmir, and it took everything we had, like our home, our shop.
Yes.
And like after that, I don't even remember like living the life I used to live, because after that everything came down to my shoulders. And since the day, like, I don't even know when I became this. I don't know if I am that mature, but I don't even know if how I became that responsible. Like, I take care of my family, I take care of my sister, I take care of myself on the side. I used to study in Chandigarh, as you know. I have paid my bills, I have paid my family's bills as much as I can. My dad has helped too. But till the day, I don't even remember how it was done. And like, it was ऊपर वाले का करम था, सब सही से हो गया, and it's still going on. But I don't face that much trouble now, because I have learned so many things in the meantime. So yeah.
Right. So, I mean, obviously, it's definitely hard of taking responsibilities at such age, right?
It is hard, but I feel privileged.
You
I
do.
feel privileged because if my I am not happy that my dad got sick and he left. He had to leave his job and all.
Yeah.
But if that wouldn't happen उस time पे, तो I wouldn't be here sitting right in front of you right now.
Yes, I want to talk about that a bit. So I remember when I went to my father, and I was 17 by then, and I asked him that I want to drop out, and I'm just talking about my dropout the first
Yeah.
time in this podcast. So since you're a very special guy, and I wanted to talk about it a bit. So I dropped out of college when I was 17, right? And I still remember I went to my father and I asked him that I want to publish my book, and I can't study. And he looked at me puzzled and said, "Ki kya kitab? What do you mean by a book?" I said, "I want to do this." So, and at that point of time, for him, financing it shouldn't have been a big deal, but he chose not to. And for a good while, I would say for a couple of months, I cursed him for why not? Why is he not helping me out? He's not seeing what I'm seeing, or whatever. That's what kids do.
Yeah.
But then over the period of time, somehow I managed the money some of my friends put in, some of my family members, and we just put it all together and published my book. Now, and I, to this day, now, after I got my senses, then my book became very famous. I became a best-selling author, and suddenly money started pumping in, and it changed everything.
Money does change everything.
Right. So, right, of course it does. So, but I still, now I meet a lot of people, and now I tell them that if at that point of time my father would have given me money, there would have been no book. There would have been there would have been a book, but it wouldn't have been a bestseller. There would have been no publishing house. There would have been no Lipa books. There would have been no other ventures. There would have been nothing. Right. So I think sometimes taking opportunities away from you, or not keeping yourself in that hard zone, keeping yourself like burning hard, it's okay. Because if you put yourself in comfort zone, you never know the flavor of it.
I
Right.
have said this before and I'll say this again that जितना इंसान comfort में रहता है, he doesn't value things. He doesn't value anything.
Absolutely.
Not his family, not the money, not his friends. He doesn't value anything. For him, for him or her, it's like he has everything on his table.
Absolutely. And I think they're not privileged at all that
Yeah,
way.
but when someone has to put on the table, he knows where he has to get it from, how he has to get
And
it from.
that is very difficult.
How much he has to get. Like, it teaches you so many things. It teaches you so many things that, you become more than you can ever imagine.
Sure, of course. So, to keep the conversation in the flow, I still want to talk about a little bit of your school life. What happened in school? What happened with Wasil in school?
My school life was, I guess it was really good until 10th. It was really good. I had a lot of friends. I had a big friend circle. Like a big friend circle.
Yep.
But I still remember one day my mom said something to me, and I still remember the date because I don't have that much of a friend circle now, and that's because of my mom.
Yep.
So once she told me कि अपना there were so many friends. मैं कल आज किसी के घर पे होता था, next day किसी और के घर पे, and like मेरी माँ को मैं उनके नाम तक याद नहीं रहता था कि मैं किन किन के घर पे रह रहा हूँ.
Right.
तो I used to sleep over a lot. Like मेरे को अपने घर पे I find escapes. So once my mom said that दोस्त उतने ही रखो जितने दोस्तों को वक्त दे पाओ. And उस time I thought it was stupid.
No,
because I was like, why? Because I am with everyone. But then cities changed.
Yes.
College, we went to college. I went to a different school. Then we went to a different college. Like we drifted apart, and then only those people stayed in my life who were really close to me, like बचपन से ही.
Yes.
But that other जो थी ना, वो भीड़ जो थी, वो खत्म हो गई, वो धीरे धीरे खत्म हो गई. And I still see them, and I swear to God, I still talk to them, but I don't remember anything about them. Like back from school days, I don't remember anything about them. But now, when I look back, I still feel like my mom used to say it कि don't make friends. इतने ज़्यादा दोस्त नहीं रखने चाहिए because इनको वक्त भी देना होता है.
Yes.
Now I feel like she was right.
I think in our journey, I mean, when you start working, and I mean, you and me were both started very early, right? I
Yeah.
started when I was 17. After my book, within 6 months, I just started my publishing house, right? And it blew off. Now, the thing is, over the period of time, what I understood was that the friends that were with me, very close friends, they disappeared. And for the good. It was the best thing that could have happened to me. Why? Because I tell you this, that in the whole transition of making yourself in your own capacity, the big guy that want to make a lot of money, fame, whatever, 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 right? Over the period of time, I understood that it has nothing to do with being happy. If it was about money, if it was about fame or other things, I'll introduce you to 10,000 people. Show me where the peace of mind is. You can be in a very little house, in a very tiny room, and if you have that peace of mind, nothing, billions over it.
I
Doesn't
don't,
matter.
I don't, I don't know if you remember, but I have, like, once we were talking and I told you one thing. I still remember it saying to you that it doesn't matter how much money you make.
Yeah.
Let it be 10,000s, millions, billions. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The peace that 100 rupee note or 10 rupee note had, which your dad or mom
Yeah.
gave it to you,
In our childhood, of
that
course.
peace is not in those billions.
No, not at all.
वो जो 10 रुपए का नोट होता था ना, या 100 रुपए का नोट होता था जो स्कूल जाने
Peace
से
of
पहले
mind.
मिलता था,
There was some kind of peace
इट
in
वॉज
it.
लाइक, जब स्कूल में जाते थे हम, कुछ 10 रुपए का नोट लेके जाते थे, 100 रुपए का नोट लेके जाते थे, वो खत्म ही नहीं होता था. And now, like, we are spending thousands, lakhs, and we are like, where does this money even go?
I know. I know. True. But yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, so Vasil, let's talk about a very important part of your life, that is content creation, right? I mean, it is something that has made you very famous over from a very long time now, right? You're the one who has views in millions, and surprisingly enough, it keeps always, you keep the expectations of your audience high always, right? And I want to know one thing, that where did this all start from? How did Vasil become, as you have told me in our personal conversations, and I was the guy who used to bully the bullies, right? So how did the guy, such a guy, got into so much of emotions that it never stopped? You always come up with something that everybody feels resonated with. So how did Vasil come into the scene of content creation?
Well, जब हमने स्टार्ट किया था, आई रिमेंबर इट वॉज मी एंड माई फ्रेंड फैज़ान. तब फैज़ान के लिए it was not fun for Faizan, but for me it was more of a distraction because I wanted to escape so badly, because तब कुछ था नहीं literally, like, करने को.
And
And I
and
was,
and tell us the year. Which year was it?
I guess it was 2016, maybe
Oh,
16,
16.
when I came on, like, musically. 2016, I remember it was 2016.
Right.
Me and my friend Faizan, we started making videos together, and then we used to get a lot of comments that you guys look twins, because we both didn't have beard on that time, and we had the same hairstyle.
Okay.
And then I remember my fifth or sixth video, Faizan had something like 80K followers on musically. No, 50K, sorry. And I had zero followers. I just started like a couple of days ago.
Right.
Then in the first week, my fifth or sixth video, it got something like 100K, 200K likes. And then within 3 or 4 weeks, I guess in a month, I was at 80 or 90K followers. And everybody who used to make videos, like, there were so many people on that time making videos, and I was the new guy.
Yeah.
And it was like I came out of like I came out like a bullet from a gun. I didn't stop. I literally didn't stop. I still remember coming to Fazan's house every day, from Pampur to Sanwar, every day. Every day, like, we used to make videos, and then I used to go home.
Yeah.
But there came a time when Fazan and me, we got really close, like, more than friends. We were like brothers. And then after that, I used to stay at his place for months, because my family had no issues with it. Because quite frankly, my family is really chill with all these things, because I have been taking care of myself since a long time. I guess I was in 8th or 7th standard when I used to pay my. Since then, I used to pay my bills till
Right.
date.
Right.
So when you become responsible, they, like your family members think, no, he's not gonna do something stupid. He's not gonna do something, reckless.
But have you done something stupid?
I have done so many things that are stupid. I have done so many things that are reckless. So when I got my first income, I still remember I got a bike for myself. Because my father was not in that financial condition to get me a bike.
Right.
But I still used to insist like to get me a bike. But when I did, I still remember I took a friend of mine with me. Uh, his name is Taha, and I told him that we have to go somewhere. I didn't tell him that we are going to get a bike for me.
Right.
So I went and I just got myself a bike. My family didn't. I came back. I still remember. I still have those snaps. I came back, I guess, 9 o'clock in the evening,
Yeah.
and I parked it outside of my house. And I went inside. I told my father to come out with me and my mother. Then I'm like, I got myself a bike. And my mom is like, she sat on the doorstep, वहाँ पे, and she didn't move. She was like, no, no, because she was scared because a couple of years ago, one of my cousin, he met an accident and he kind of destroyed his legs, both legs. So yeah, that was the fear my mom had. But with time, uh, that was a dream for me because I so badly wanted that bike.
Yeah.
And I finally got it. I rode it for a year.
That's the thing about things, Vasil. They once you want something very, very badly, and then you have it, and then suddenly it loses its charm. It gets too overwhelming with time.
And why do you think that happens, and what can prevent it from happening?
Surely emotions, you need to be emotionally intact, need to make a lot of memories, be it little, bigger, whatever. You need to make a lot of memories. I think memories are everything. You can live off by memories your whole life. Vasil, let's talk about love. I mean, I just want you to express it. I mean, you have expressed so much about it, right? From diverse topics of loyalty, depression, sadness, moving on, letting go. How does it all come together? Where are these emotions coming from? What's happening?
You know, here's this thing. People think that I make the videos for them. I don't. I don't.
Who do you make it for?
It's like that's the thing I'm telling myself to remember. That's for me to remember. That you don't have to, you know, drown in the same well again.
Wow.
So that's not for the people, that's for me to remember. Like I am telling those things to me. Now people relate to it because they somehow have gone through the same things that I have been through. And it has been, you know, painful, I will say. But
Yes.
it did help me a lot to be
It.
a good person and to be a better man.
Yes. I think acceptance is the key. Accepting your reality and moving on is important because at the end of the day, I think what makes a human being makes himself sad by his choices, right? I think we suffer in our imagination more than we can suffer in reality, because I am a big believer of the fact, and this is in fact true, that perhaps a while ago, couple of months ago, I felt like I could not live without something or somebody. But here I am sitting with you doing a pod. So you know it's okay. Everything just works out eventually.
You know, people will realize this, and people do realize this after, after a while, after they've been separated from someone they love, that
Yes.
nobody never really moves on. They just learn to live with the pain. We just learn to live with the pain. We know how to, move it from place to place, how to deal with it. Now we learn to control it, but we never move on. Somewhere deep down in our heart, we still have those memories. We still miss them. We still crave for them. But now we don't want them. Now we know how much pain they have caused us.
And I also at the same time believe that people have glorified by saying moving on, self healing, and other things too much. But I think it just overshadows things. But we really never really move on, because I believe in that, because काफी कुछ कहा गया है, काफी कुछ बोला गया है, but when you go back to sleep, when you're all alone at night, things come back.
They
Things
always
go.
do.
Yes, and it's glorified that they don't self healing reflections, and I mean, I'm all for
like
it. But
like
does it really
in
work?
the beginning, when those things used to come at funds in the night, in the dark night, it used to keep me awake.
It
Now
surely
it
does.
makes me sleep. To be
Why?
honest, it makes me
Why?
sleep because it makes my, I keep thinking about the things, like what it was, where did it go wrong, and what I have done wrong, what she did wrong. But somewhere, like I feel like it was somewhere it was my fault, somewhere it was her fault. But the thing that, one of us, I won't mention who, but one of us gave up on like the other person, and that was it.
Were you gonna say that wasn't me?
I won't say it because it will be kind of disrespectful for that person, because I still respect that person a lot. That person has given me so much, showed me so many things, and given me so many memories that I want to keep them. I want to keep her in the good notes.
I think one of the biggest things that we can, or big favors that one can do to themselves, is to learn from the mistakes and let it go. Sometimes it's important to let go. It is like, just to save yourself, it's important to let go.
But do we really let go? Do we ever let go?
Circumstances change, time changes, responsibilities change. We move on. We don't let go. Somewhere in our heart, we remember the good times and bad times because of memories, but we move on. I mean, everybody does. There's no way one doesn't. We always move on. I mean, if you look at it in this perspective, we're shooting this podcast at night, right? We don't know when we'll be home. And in the morning, I have my meetings of yours. And I mean, there's obviously comes a time when we do go back, we're alone, we think about things, and it's okay because now they're very normal. Now, then you'll get someone's phone call, you'll get busy into other things. Life just moves on. I told you, we always move on.
Like, there's this thing, that there's this quote that, life is a book and every day is a new chapter. And it is not important that everyone which was on yesterday's page will be on today's page.
I'm going to stop you here. Let's talk about the book because let's talk about your book. Hannah, something very close. It we have had fun, right? Publishing
So
this,
fun.
right? So I want to talk about the book first. I want to give our audience a little bit of glimpse about it. I'm sure a lot of people have it already, and Vasil came down to the office and signed many books for you guys. But yeah, so here's the book, The Reality Checks You Needed, and we to give you a little of a background check, we had a title that was like reality checks we needed but you never got, right? And then we changed. He called me midnight and said ki somebody talk to me and let's just change it, right? So cool. I want to give a little bit of more uh, information. This book is published by Lipa Publications.
Yep.
That was founded by me, and I'm still the CEO of it. And I mean, when Vasil came down to the office and said that I want to publish my book, that was kind of okay. You have a book, and although we talked about it while we
Well,
were
we met
having
for the
that
first
walk,
time.
yes, but then I did not really know it was there. It was existing, although the content was shattered all over the place. But I had no idea that it did exist, and so when you were like you came down and you said I have to go back to Chandigarh, so brother, we need to just wrap it up really quickly, and I was like, of course, we can do that. But I had no idea you meaning wrapping up quickly
In a
was like
day.
7 days, 4 days to get done with it. So I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. So then let's talk about it a bit, right? So you and me, we sat in my office. I asked you that, let's sign a contract, let's get it done. We signed a contract. You mailed it to us, and we're like, okay, cool, let's do it. Next day, you came to the office. You stayed there for a while?
I stayed there for, I guess, 2 hours, and
Two
I was
hours.
in a different room. I remember
Yeah.
gathering the content, and
Yeah, I think you took my room, and I was thrown out
yeah,
of my room, and you said I want some solace, so keep me there. So we sat. I asked everybody not to disturb you.
yeah,
So it was quite challenging, right? Because everybody was entering and
yeah.
calling me, and you were like, "यहाँ नहीं है वो, ढूंढो उसको अंदर." So that was fun. But yes, then I had somebody to stand there and tell these ki andar nahi jao,
अंदर नहीं
let
जाओ
him
ना.
work. Yes. So cool. That period we sat. Then finally the day came to end. You said, okay, theek hai, I have some content, let's do it again tomorrow. After that we did it tomorrow. He spent couple of hours in the office and then he's like, come on, let's go for a ride. So I asked somebody to take us out
Yeah.
and we went here and there for a while. And then he's like, okay, fine. Why don't you do one thing? I have to go to Chandigarh in 2 days. Let's wrap the whole book today. I was like, how can we do that? He said, fine, you call your graphic designer in, you call your editor in. I said, but we can't stay in the office. And you
Let's
were like,
stay
"Ki
at
chal
your
phir
house.
let's go to your house." So we went there, and I think we all had dinner, and then we started around 11.
No, I slept
Oh yeah,
first.
no, okay, yes, 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 yes. So you slept for a while, and we did not because we felt like, okay, we'll get done midway and then we'll sleep. So you slept while watching some movie after dinner, and then you woke up around 12,
No, 11:30, I guess.
something like
Yeah.
that, and then you came down to the room in the home office, and then we started all working. And I think it was till 11 in the morning,
Yeah.
10 or 11 in the
Yeah.
morning when we wrapped. And I didn't go that day to the office. I asked somebody to drop you back.
Yeah.
And
I
then,
started packing and I left.
yes. And then I didn't go to the office that day. I slept. It was like, okay, exhausted. And
Everybody was exhausted.
within 2 days, we had the book, this book. So I'm gonna read one liner which took something in me that day. I was like, okay, we are doing this. So that was like, I hate you for making my tears come true. Where did it came from?
Well, this isn't just a book.
I would like
This
to hand it to you,
this
please.
this this isn't just a book. These are the quotes in it, the content in it. It's all like shattered pieces of my heart from all those years. So I kind of have a favorite quote from this book, which I
Go on,
really like. Which I really like,
please.
and I guess it's on page 28 as far as I remember. So there's this quote that I got so comfortable with you that I
Yeah,
got myself telling you things that were buried deep inside of my heart.
right.
A part of me was afraid
Yes,
until the day you used the same things against me to win an argument and then to leave me.
yes.
I am no longer afraid. So this was the favorite quote from this book because I wrote this. I still remember I wrote this quote, and I was in tears when I wrote this quote. So it was something like 3 o'clock in the night, and I was literally in tears while I wrote this quote because that was the day. That was the day I started learning to live with the pain. That was the day I was no longer afraid of those memories. You know, those memories kind of used to hunt me in the night. They didn't.
Yeah,
They were like more like they have became like a nightmare.
yes.
But on that day, I was like, just learn to live with it. It is what it is now because that person is not coming back, and I am not allowing that person to come back into my life.
I think letting something go, accepting the truth, and going on with life after that is the hardest task. But once you achieve it, you're a free bird.
Once you achieve it, you do this.
Well, that was something, and I fortunate
And
enough
I
now.
can't believe that I literally have this in my hand. It was a dream come true, and all thanks to this guy because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been like published my book. I
Now,
wouldn't.
one more important aspect of this book. Could you please hand it to me? Now, one more aspect of this book. So, this book is exclusively live and you can purchase it from only and only Lipa App, right? So, let's talk about the journey about Lipa App, right? I mean, you've been a part and parcel of this whole thing.
Yep.
While we started this book, we introduced the app to you, and
It was the app that you introduced first. We
yes,
didn't talk about the book then. It was
yes,
the app that you showed
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's like, what's your take on it?
yeah.
Since you are
And I
the
really liked it.
yes, yes, yes. I want to talk about it a bit. So now you have your account there, and
I am verified.
you're verified, and yes, you have followers there. People are buying your book. People have pre-ordered your book. People are crazy about you. They are messaging me saying, "Can you get an answer from him?" I'm
And he
messaged
doesn't tell me
him
the names, to be honest. He doesn't.
because I shouldn't, right? Because because that'll consume a lot of time. I seriously get a lot of messages. My team gets messages and they tell me that, what should we do with it? Should we respond? I'm like, no, don't.
When he's not responding, you should respond.
I don't say it like that because they just message on our official Instagram, and sort of it's something like where should we or should we not? But then we're like, no, ignore it. And we don't mean to be rude, but just that there's so many people asking for things. Like they were very impatient to get your book. Very, it was like, kahan hai?
I got a lot of DMs. The people who bought my book, the people who pre-ordered my book. I got a lot of DMs where the book is, and don't blame me, blame him. He's the one who is handling that. So if there has been a delay or something,
No,
please.
there has been no delay, but there was a lot of rush.
Yeah, there was rush, and there was Sundays in between.
There
So
were
yeah,
there was lot of rush. There was a lot of traffic on the app, right? And I mean that's what's up. But yeah, so app, right? A social media platform for book lovers and the world. That's what Liper is.
love it.
It is a social media that I've always craved for myself because I was in my days of little bit of being famous on social media. I got verified, I think, in 2019, right? At that point of time, my book was famous and my publishing house was taking off in a good way. It was at that point of time a startup. Now we don't consider it a startup anymore. But that period taught me that social media is something which is important. I can
It
talk
is.
to people, I can get glorified in many ways, and I surely had an ego, right? Okay, a lot of people message me. But then we grow up. We
We
realize
all do.
that
Yeah.
it is not the messages, it has a lot to do with money as well that changes you,
I
right?
told you in the beginning, money
Yes,
changed
yes, of
everything.
course, of course. So when that came in, you tend to hire a lot of people because you need to keep the
Yeah,
show
you.
going, and then you become very responsible. You feel like, okay, now you have kids, and you need to pay for the. I call it paying for their tuitions, paying for everything, right? Although it's just hypothetical, they get what they deserve, and they surely deserve a lot. My team is best, and a good shout out to them here. But yeah, coming back to it now, I have surely been sort of fascinated by the idea of social media at the moment because now it according to me has become irrelevant. We needed something better.
Like for me, it's a place which is not toxic.
Yes,
It's not
yes,
toxic. It's
yes.
not a person toxic, because there are only those people who love reading, who love quotes, who love to share books, who love to read books, and those people are not toxic
and
like
and
me.
and and I think what lately we have been observing on the app, like, see, it's a general social media platform,
Yeah.
right? You can buy books, you can give books, you can post, you can message, you can do whatever you want, right? But there are certain filter checks in between. You can't upload nudity because we're trying to keep it safe. At the moment, we don't have videos
Yep.
because we want to make it content based, where
Yeah.
a lot of people have come to us, mostly girls, and our user base is mostly girls. I would say 70%, 75% around that. And they come to us and say that
Nerds.
they come to us and they say to us that we feel safe here.
It's a safe place. I told you in the beginning that
And
it's a safe
when
place.
girls mostly share their pictures, we are over the moon because that assurance of feeling safe for them
Yeah.
is everything that
And on a
means to
new
us.
social media
Yes.
platform, that's a really
Yes,
big
and
thing.
it has been just 1 month and some
Yeah.
days that we launched properly. And that is a very fascinating journey.
Yeah.
But let's talk about it. So, how can people reach out to Wasil on the app, right?
DM me, please. Direct DM me. There is no like filter in that. You can DM me
Yes.
whenever you want, however you want. Just DM
So,
me. Buy me a book, please.
yes, and let's talk about buying you a book. So, there's an option in the app which you
Yep.
clearly know that,
Which I really like.
yes, from buying buy now option of buying any book there's an option of gift
Paper.
paperback,
Yeah.
right? So what gift paperback is that you can actually gift it to somebody. If you want to reach out to somebody, how would you do that?
Do it.
You can't reject someone who's buying you a book again then again. How can you do that, right? So I believe that reaching out to someone through books, that we have a campaign called have
That's
you
a love language, actually.
Yes, yes, and and we call it that. Have you? We have a tagline for it. Have you bought me a book
Book
yet?
yet. Yeah,
Right.
I remember.
Yes. So that is something
I
very.
have remember that line.
Yes, and that is something where we haven't been public about it. Like we haven't reached out to the community majorly. It's just been an internal launch and few bookstagrammers. Bookstagram is a community that represents books in a much larger way. I think they are the people that have kept this community alive.
Yeah.
And we haven't reached out to them in a larger sense, but there is a lot of opportunities that we are going to come up with for them as well. And I'm very excited and thrilled with this. But coming back to the book at the moment, I mean, it's absolutely a pleasure that getting this book exclusively live on the app. You can't buy it from anywhere else. You just have to download the app and buy it.
That's the thing. You have to go on the app to buy it.
Right, right, right. So, Vasil, what an absolute pleasure doing this conversation with you. We talked about book, we talked about life,
We have talked about this moment as well, if you remember.
Please tell me.
I guess if you remember when we like you came to pick me up one day, I guess, and you drop me off every day. I still owe you for that. And one day we were like at like in our area, and then we talked about this moment. And one day we will do a pod for Lipa, and I will be your host.
Yes,
But now the like there's the situation has changed. You are the host, and now I am the guest.
yeah, that was what we decided. And I mean, nothing about the team. So team said
Yeah.
that let's do this, and we want to share a lot of stories. Want to come up with a lot of people and share a lot of good stories, and that's the goal. But this was quite personal. This pod
Yeah.
was personal because I know this book journey. I know many things
You have
about
seen
you.
everything about this.
Yes, and I wanted to do this the first thing, right? Because the book has been an interesting journey. We did share a lot of moments. I've seen your glory days as well a while ago as well. I will be sitting in the car and you would post it and say, look, 10K, right? And that's amazing. So we have had a blast. And I hope that we keep doing this. I hope we meet somewhere in the world and do another one when this book turns into a bestseller. And I'm sure it will.
That's up to you guys.
I
Don't
am
disappoint me, please.
I'm sure it will. I am the way things are going. I'm sure it will, and this podcast will surely help for a lot of people to sort of go on the app, uh, search on the search tab Vasil Manzoor. His account will
My
pop up.
account and my book both will pop up.
Yes, and then there's an option: click here to buy my book. Click on it. His book will come. Order it
I don't
anywhere
mind.
in
Give me
India.
my own book. Just buy it.
Yes. And then also, before we wrap it, Vasil, would you like to talk a little bit about what's inside your book, the tearing of the pages?
Like we have this thing in our book that was the surprise I had in this book that
Yes.
there are some blank pages and I have asked you guys some questions, the people who have bought this book, and there are like there's a little space on the right corner, bottom corner, which says write it, tear it, send it, and the address is on the last page of the
Yeah.
book. You can write on those and you can send me those. I will hand pick them.
Yes.
And we're about to make a wall for it in my room and in the office as well.
Yes.
We're planning to do that. So do it, just write them and send them to me because they are not for you to keep.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking out
It was a
time.
pleasure.
It is amazing. It's too late now,
Yeah.
but what a time. Thanks for
It
being
has been a
here.
hell of a ride.
Perfect. Let's wrap it, guys.